Yes, guys, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. It is time for the Arsenal season predictions, season 2023-2024. It's a huge season. It's going to be a big season. Many Arsenal fans are really expecting to win the title. Many Arsenal fans think we can even go all the way and win the UEFA Champions League. So this season is going to be the ultimate season for Arsenal. In this video, we're going to be predicting every competition Arsenal are going to compete in and really seeing where Arsenal can finish and where we will be finishing in all those competitions, but also on the individual side of players, player of the season, top scorer, best signing, surprise player. We're going to be predicting all those positions. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get your predictions in the comment box below. I want you to predict with me every position, every single prediction. Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 500 likes and let's dive into the prediction. So let's start off with the Carabao Cup. This edition is going to be a difficult one. I think there will be more clubs that actually want silverware as compared to recent years. I think Arsenal will want silverware, Man United, Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham. Silverware is going to be very important for a couple of clubs that are actually not going to make it to the top four, and also clubs that are not going to be playing in Europe. But I think Arsenal will win the Carabao Cup this year. It's a trophy that if you concentrated a lot, if you concentrated enough, you're always gonna win it. Manchester City have shown us that in the recent years. They have won it 6 times. So this time, this edition of the Carabao Cup will go to Arsenal, and I'm going to say we will play the final against Chelsea and win that game 1-0. Next up is the FA Cup, where we are the record holders of the competition 14 times. No one has won it more than Arsenal. In the recent 3 years, ever since we won it under Mikel Arteta, we've not actually done very well. And I really suspect that this season we are not actually going to do very well in the FA Cup. My problem with the FA Cup is that it comes during that period of the year where you have already defined whether you want to win the Premier League or you actually want to win the UEFA Champions League. So still this year, I don't expect Arsenal to go as far as the semi-finals. I'm going to say for the FA Cup, Arsenal will drop out on the quarterfinals. I don't know who we are going to play, but I don't see us go as far as the semi-finals and potentially the finals. So FA Cup, Arsenal will end at the quarterfinals in that edition. Next is the Champions League. We are back in the Champions League after 7 years without being in the competition. It's going to be a very tough season for anyone there. There are good clubs, Manchester City, Bayern, Man United are getting better as well. So it's going to be a very, very different experience as compared to what we are used to for the last 7 years. But at least we'll be playing on a Tuesday. We will also be playing on a Wednesday. Now, I trust Arsenal's squad to get out of the group stages. I trust our team to get through the last 16. But I think the quarterfinals still is where Arsenal will end. On the quarterfinals, if we either play Madrid, Bayern, or any of those big clubs, I don't think Arsenal will go over that. It is our inaugural season with Mikel Arteta. It is our first season in the UEFA Champions League in a very long time. I'm not saying Arsenal weak. I'm not saying Arsenal will not do very well this campaign. But in the UEFA Champions League, I can see us end at the quarterfinals. And probably next season, after this season, we might go as far as even winning the UCL. But this season, quarterfinals for Arsenal, and it won't be a bad stop at all. And now it's time for the big one. Will Arsenal win the Premier League? Where will we finish on the Premier League table this season? I'm going to be very controversial on myself. I'm going to say Arsenal will get to 93 points. That is 10 more points than we collected last campaign. Now, last season, it was more of a miracle that Arsenal were there. It was more of a miracle that Arsenal pushed Manchester City all the way. It was more of a miracle that we were even in the conversation for the title. But this season, it is expected. This season, Man City will expect us to push them. This season, Man City will expect us to go toe-to-toe and head-to-head with them for the title. I think we have enough squad depth. I think we have better players added to the side in the summer. And I also think that we are more experienced a little bit as compared to where we were last campaign. So 10 more points. Does 93 points win you the Premier League? I don't expect Manchester City to go back to 100 points, 99 points. I think the league will be won between 95 to 89 points. That is where the winner will actually come from. I think Man City and Liverpool plus Arsenal are going to be the three clubs in title contention. Liverpool will give it a nice ride. I see them end at 85 points. Man City 91 points and Arsenal 93. So the reason why I've suggested that Arsenal don't win the FA Cup, why Arsenal will not win the UEFA Champions League, is I critically and strongly believe this is our year. We will win the Premier League. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be difficult, but the addition of players like Declan Rice, the addition of players like Julian Timber, it is a communication. It is indicative of what Mikel Arteta wants to do. It is indicative of where the manager is trying to take this Arsenal project. So if we don't win it this season, I will be disappointed. I'm going to say Arsenal 93 points. We're going to win it. Second will be Manchester City. Third will be Liverpool. Fourth will be Manchester United. Fifth is Chelsea. Tottenham in sixth. Seventh is Aston Villa. Eighth, Newcastle. I mean, that is my top 8. And that is how I see the Premier League table shape up. Now let's dive into the individual player accolades for the season. Last season, Martin Odegaard was best player, followed by Bukayo Saka, I think followed by Gabriel Martinelli. It was a very fantastic season for Gabriel Martinelli. It was a very fantastic season for Saka, and a really unbelievable season for Martin Odegaard. And I tell you what, those 3 players, if they're given the chance, if they're given the game time, they will continue developing and they will have very, very great seasons. Now, player of the year at Arsenal, my prediction is Martin Odegaard. Last season, we saw a Martin Odegaard that was really reinvented, scored a lot of goals, really created a lot of chances. But I tell you what, with Declan Rice behind Odegaard, we might be seeing another level unlocked in Martin Odegaard's game. And with Kevin De Bruyne's performances coming down, we might get the top assister of the Premier League. I'm just saying he might be the top assister in the Premier League. Now, his creativity is undoubted. The ability to score goals as well is undoubted. And the way Mikel Arteta loves him, the way Mikel Arteta actually uses him, he uses him as a leader on the pitch. He uses him as a second manager on the pitch. He's truly unbelievable. His energy levels are very, very high. Unless he picks up an injury, which I actually don't think he will pick up, he's going to be Arsenal's best player of the season for the second season running. Next one is top scorer. This one is a very difficult one for me, but I'm going to go crazy, absolutely crazy. My top scorer for the season is going to score 18 goals next campaign, and that is Kai Havertz. Is he mad? I am not mad. That is my prediction for top scorer in the Premier League. Not all competitions, but just in the Premier League. I still think that Kai Havertz is finding good spaces. He's very good at getting into those good spaces and very good at finishing. The only thing he has to do is get more balls into the back of the net. I think he's a very good finisher. He's a very good space investigator. So I'm going to put him down as my top scorer. He's going to be lingering in those spaces where Xhaka was last campaign. And he will be getting chances. He will be getting at the back of many balls in the penalty area. And the fact that he has that aerial ability, I expect him to score around 7-8 goals with headers and probably 10 with his feet. So Kai Havertz, my top scorer for Arsenal in the Premier League. If he can get those numbers, it's going to be very crucial for Arsenal in the Premier League, especially as we try to win it. Best signing of the summer for us, it's going to be Julian Timber. Now, I was oscillating between Rice and Timber, despite the fact that I've predicted Kai Havertz will be 18 goals above. I don't think he will be our best signing. Our best signing is going to be Julian Timber. If William Saliba is a Rolls Royce, I think Julian Timber is unexplainable. It's like a UFO, right? If Saliba is a Rolls Royce, Timber is a UFO, unidentified flying object. So we've seen him and we've seen what he can do. Defensively, astute. Offensively, very good. A world-class player. A player that can be relied on. A player that Mikel Arteta will surely be looking to build around. That defense with Timber and William Saliba is much stronger and much better, and I expect Arsenal to significantly concede less goals as compared to what we conceded last campaign. So Timber for me is my signing of the summer. Sorry, Rice. I really love Rice. I really think Rice is going to be key and influential in our season, but I still think Timber is going to be revolutionary, especially with the fact that he's going to be inverting into midfield, with the fact that he's going to be playing on the right, on the left as well, and at times at centre back. He's going to be our signing of this summer, unless he picks up an injury, unless he, has that bad form. I don't see how anyone is going to outperform Julian Timber. So Timber, signing of the summer. Top assister for me in the team is going to be Leandro Trossard. Although I've said Odegaard is very creative, we've seen it with Leandro Trossard. When he came in at Arsenal, right from January to the end of the season, 10 assists. Now that is crucial. Of course, you've got to think about the fact that Trossard also is responsible for bringing in a couple of corners. That just allows him to, bring some quality delivery into the penalty area, and players can get to the back of that, and he will be accumulating assists and assists and assists. Now, I'm not saying Odegaard will decline. Odegaard will be very good, but Leandro Trossard has shown us something very special. He's shown us something very different, that as an Arsenal player, he can be very versatile, very flexible. He can play in that left 8, but he can also play on the left hand side. So if Trossard ever, takes over the left hand side from Martinelli, we're gonna see a lot of assists. We're gonna see a lot of creativity. So it's gonna be my top assist for the season. I think he will accumulate around 16 assists in the Premier League. So Leandro Trossard, top on assists in the Premier League for Arsenal. My surprise player, the player that you all don't expect to be huge, the player that you all don't expect to be important, but it's gonna be very important. Guess that one. It's gonna be Jakub Kiwior. I said it before, Jakub Kiwior is gonna be a very vital player for Arsenal this season. He might not start every game. He might not replace Gabriel Magalhaes straight away, but you expect to see him in various roles. You will see him playing alongside Saliba. You'll see him playing alongside Gabriel. You'll also see him playing alongside Thomas Partey in midfield, or Declan Rice in midfield. Now, he's a very technical player, very clever, very comfortable on the ball. If Arsenal really want to use him in any way, shape or form, they will actually be able to. And that's one of the reasons why Mikel Arteta actually signed him. So it's going to be a very, very big surprise to many of the Premier League clubs. And I think in games where Arsenal will want to have that kind of three centre backs on the left hand side, and then Timber inverting on the right hand side, Jakub Kiwior is gonna be a very key man. So my surprise player for the season for Arsenal is Jakub Kiwior. Our most improved player this season. Who is gonna be the most improved player this season? Last season it was Granit Xhaka. This season, I want to know what are you thinking? Most improved player for me, Fabio Vieira. Now, his confidence is coming back a little bit. The fact that the manager, gave him that penalty, the fact that the manager allowed him to take that penalty, the winning penalty, and he executed it in such a way, his confidence was given a big boost, and he's becoming a much more important player in this Arsenal squad. So you could see that when Arsenal really needed some kind of reinforcements, when Mikel Arteta needed to change the game, he called upon Fabio Vieira. We've seen him being used a lot of the time in pre-season. I think he will give us that kind of Bernardo Silva role when Saka is taken off the pitch, or Saka coming a little bit inside and Fabio Vieira, holding the width of the pitch. I think Fabio Vieira is going to be our most improved player. I'm going to predict this. Fabio Vieira will have 6 goals and above next season, and he will have 6 assists and above next season. Next on the list is most important player. Who is going to be our most important player next season? Last season, you could argue it was Bukayo Saka. And the reason why it was Saka has a lot of ability in him. But one of the things you like about it is the ability to change games by himself. Remember the Manchester United game, that cracker. You remember the Aston Villa game, the equalizer. You remember the Leicester City game. He's got that ability in him to just change games. He can go, okay, it is not working. I'm going to take this in my hands. And that is why Saka is going to be our most important player. But then also, we really create a lot from the right-hand side. And if Arsenal are going to create chances, if Arsenal are really going to, bring on the creativity we saw last campaign, Saka is going to be very key. And I'm going to say Saka, most important player for Arsenal next season. Who is going to play the most number of games in the side? I'm going to give it to Declan Rice because the goalkeepers are going to be oscillating. I really think Mikel will be oscillating between David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale. I don't see any other player who's actually going to be unchanged. I think Rice is going to be that one player that plays every single game. It's going to be our new Granit Xhaka. Now we know he's very, very durable. He's so consistent. He can play as many games as possible. He can play as many games as available. So I won't be surprised to see Declan Rice playing 38 games in the Premier League and all games in the UEFA Champions League. But of course, if you disagree and if you agree, let me know by hitting the like button and commenting in the comment box below. I'll see you right in the next one.